So, we need to talk about lobbying, and a specific lobby. This one is called Moms for Liberty, and they've got an interesting record and some interesting things to say. Let's go ahead and get into that. This one is from Rainbowless, still a work in progress, but closer to finish. I'm not sure if I did the shading for the, quote, hair right, but I think I like it. I mean, it looks gooey, so it's probably right. The next one we have here is from Hypnotic Jeans. Hey, I really enjoy your channel. I'd like to think I have an interesting art style, and I hope you like it. You do have an interesting lifestyle. Jesus, look at the detail on those knuckles. Look at the detail on the knuckles. They are going to shred concrete. Also, I like I've said it on previous episodes, but I actually really like the way that some people do my hands with like the claws in them. I like it. I think it's cute. The next one we have here is from Zane A. I tried drawing slime Suris. This looks like you succeeded at drawing slime Suris. That's what it looks like. As always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future episode, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that all said, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, and hit the bell notification icon if you have not already. Also, Patreon. You should go there. I do behind-the-scenes episodes on stuff that's going on the channel in real life, and that's the place where you can see everything that's important and not really. I'm very bad at plugging my Patreon. Instead, we're going to move right into the topics because I'm bad at this. Anyways, lobby group wants LGBTQ kids in separate classrooms, like children with autism or Down syndrome. Okay, let's see where the hell this goes. Said we can see your boobs on Patreon? No, you can't see my boobs on Patreon. I mean, you can here. But that's not Patreon. So, you know. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to the actual topic at hand here. The anti-LGBTQ lobby group, Moms for Liberty, has called for LGBTQ plus kids to be placed in separate classrooms, like children with autism or Down syndrome. Moms for Liberty, started by two mothers who love to rage against transgender contagion, has been running for less than 2 years. Speaking of contagions, MC Poto, really? That's what you're doing on this episode? Really? We talk about important shit, and you come in here and you drop a goddamn fucking... Ooh? That's what you do? Really? Okay, Poto. Okay. I see you. 50,001 channel points. You dropped them. I said the words. Kindly heck off. Go. Shoo. We're going to continue reading, and we're going to forget you ever did that. Axolotls with cream. Thank you for redeeming your points for an owl. Owl. It rapidly expanded to 215 chapters in 40 states after being promoted by, of course, Tucker Carlson and Rush Limbaugh, rest in peace, Bozo, and Steve Bannon, who is currently in jail. Oof. Earlier this month, an episode of MSNBC's Field Report with Paola Ramos featured Moms of Liberty Miami president Eulalia Jimenez, who believes COVID vaccines are poison and that there are children being smuggled through underground tunnels for the enjoyment of demons, as well as other members of her chapter. That is a statement. Those are words that I read. They were certainly there on the paper. I'm not sure how I feel about them existing, but they're there and they're real. Enough. That's a thing. In one group interview, member Crystal Alonso told Ramos that discussions with pupils about being LGBTQ+ should not be an open thing in classrooms, and said she believes queer kids should be confined to separate classrooms. She says, like, for example, kids with autism and Down syndrome. They have to have special individualized education plans and meetings with counselors. They have to be put in separate classrooms. I understand because it's a different type of education for children with those disabilities. But I think for children that identify differently, there should also be like a specialized something for them. Do you want to know how you dehumanize people? Do you want to know how you dehumanize people to kids? You put them in the corner away from everyone else and you say, no, 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 no. You in this classroom, y'all are the normal kids. And the people in that classroom, they're the not normal kids. They're the weird ones. They're the ones that you don't have to be around. Doesn't change the fact also that apparently Moms for Liberty has been trying to ban any book in any county that talks about queer stuff at all. We've been doing videos on that lately with the different types of books that have been taken off of even digital platforms and libraries that kids have access to. But let's continue on. The comments are especially disturbing as Moms for Liberty is not just a group of angry LGBTQ parents, it's beginning to have political power. Moms for Liberty Florida chapters have worked with State Governor Ron DeSantis, of course they have, in pushing his reviled Don't Say Gay legislation, which bans the mention of LGBTQ+ identities in schools. The nationwide group is infamous for relentlessly fighting to remove books with LGBTQ themes from schools and libraries, and last year even offered a $500 bounty if its followers turned in teachers discussing divisive topics in New Hampshire. As new law passed by Republican lawmakers in New Hampshire bans teachers from discussing divisive topics. Transgender students are being treated badly. LGBTQ books are being taken out of libraries. This is about the Don't Say Gay bill. Okay, here we go. Moms for Liberties is encouraging conservatives to use the forum in turn in their kids' teachers, and they're even offering a bounty. We've got $500 for the person that first successfully catches a public school teacher breaking this law, the group told their followers. Students, parents, teachers, school staff, we want to know. We will pledge anonymity if you want. $500. $500. How do you not have $500 to pay for the persecution that you're getting for free? That is fucked up. Do you know how many false positives you get with shit like that? Also, $500? That's a lot for a kid. That's a whole hell of a lot. That's gonna instantly make a kid go, ah, I could turn in my teacher for being gay and mentioning it once in class. They broke the law after all, and I deserve some money. No, that's stupid, fucked up, and dumb. But let's continue. At the Moms for Liberty 2022 Summit, which hosts guests like DeSantis and Betsy DeVos, the group's executive director of program development, Mary Rogerson, said, "We must be active. We must care. We must be alert and awake." Oh, that's real close to saying you're woke. Don't do that. We must not give in to fear. When the opposition protests and holds signs proclaiming that you cannot love liberty and ban books, remember, we are not banning books. But because liberty has a moral foundation, you absolutely can demand that sexually explicit corrupt text be removed or restricted because that is the right thing to do. Wow. Okay, hold on. Let's read that real quick. That one right there. We aren't banning books. We're just taking text we disagree with and removing or restricting it. We're not banning books. No. We're getting the books banned. It's very different. It's very different. 110%. Completely different. What are you talking about? Why would you think that we would be banning books? No, we're just making it to where you don't have access to them, and you can't get them, and they're not available. That's not banning books. That's banning books. Completely different. Completely different. So we're not burning these books, we're converting them into energy with fire. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. And of course, they've got information here on places like Twitter for you to use. Little brochures for you to utilize here. Act now! The Biden administration is seeking to change Title IX. What does this mean for your children? Under the guise of civil rights, the following policies become mandatory. Schools will be urged to hide information from parents, including gender transition. Biological males in girls' sports. Students and teachers will be punished for sexual harassment if they misgender or use a pronoun for a boy or girl other than what they prefer. Bathrooms and locker rooms and overnight field trip housing will no longer be based on biological sex. We must act now. Deadline is 3 days from now. Submit public comment asking that none of the proposed changes are implemented at this place here. Can we talk about each of these? So schools will be urged to hide information from parents, including gender transition. A parent will probably be able to fucking tell if their kid's actually transitioning, first of all. Secondly, if a kid is in the closet, that is a thing that the school should not out. And I'm dead fucking serious. If a kid is an atheist in the closet and they happen to be in a very bigoted religious household, the school should not be disclosing that information to the parent. If the kid happens to be gay, the school should not be disclosing that information to the parent. If the kid happens to be trans, the school should not be disclosing that information to the parent. Because there is no way to know if you are going to be enabling a situation that will lead to abuse. Hate to say it, but the whole mantra of, well, parents know best for their kids. No, the fuck they don't. No, the fuck they don't. If parents always know best for their kids, then no parent has ever engaged in abuse of a child. But since that world doesn't exist, and since there's no way to tell from the outside in, how about we don't roll that dice with children's lives? Biological males in girls' sports? So here's the thing. If you want to go by the Olympics rules of if somebody's been taking HRT for about a year, then they are allowed to participate in that type of sport, fine. I'm okay with that. Use those rules, because that allows you to have the rules based off of the actual criteria that you are so desperately worried about when it comes to biology, because HRT significantly affects biology after about a year of use, to the point where you become in line more or less with the potential for the potential you would expect in someone who is cis of the gender you are trying to go towards. So, if they want to have that line, sure, why not? But I know that's not what Moms for Liberty wants. Because the idea is not to provide an avenue that is actually fair for everyone involved and allows trans women and trans men to actually be in the sports that they're supposed to be in. No. They just want trans kids banned from those sports entirely and forced to participate in the ones that they aren't supposed to be in. This creates a world, and we've seen this happen, where trans guys who have been on HRT for an amount of time, even if it's just like 6 months, end up having a significant advantage over the cis girls that they are being forced to fight against in wrestling matches. And then we end up having issues on the other end of that spectrum as well. Almost as if the Olympics, people who are experts in this field, you would imagine, had a fucking point with allowing trans people in sports, the sports that they identify in. The trans women in sports thing that plagued the atheist community for the longest time years ago, I'm glad to see that this, just like abortion, moved out of the devil's advocate hypothetical debates and became an actual human rights issue that everybody has to contend with all the fucking time. Isn't it great? play devil's advocate long enough and eventually you see that shit actually manifest in reality, fucking blows dick. And then, of course, these students and teachers will be punished for sexual harassment if they misgender or use a pronoun. So punish is a very, very loose term. Also, Monica, thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream? We've gotten a lot of raids today. Holy shit. But students and teachers being punished. What punishment is there for a student? What punishment is there for a teacher? That information isn't given, and I think that's deliberate. If the punishment for a teacher is just a warning, a reprimand, like, hey, don't misgender your kids, okay, and cool, who cares? Prevents harassment. Neat. But, of course, none of that information is going to actually be provided by Moms for Liberty. They would rather just yell and scream and freak out and cause an uproar. Better mind whatever it is, clear, malevolent, repeating, no misgendering. That's harassment, not accidental. Yep. Well, just like we've seen in the UK, like, you don't get in trouble for misgendering somebody, but you can get in trouble for repeatedly doing it to the point where it's considered harassment. That's the point where it steps across a line. We saw that with the mermaids incident. But that said, what do you guys think of all this? Banning trans kids from sports is fucked up? Yep, it is. Banning trans kids from sports is fucked up. And dumb. And yet that's a thing that people try to do. Don't be transphobic pieces of shit. Don't do that. Icecat says, Mermaid. Yeah, Mermaids was is a pro-trans organization based in the UK. That said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below for when this goes up on YouTube. And as always, everyone, insert end video tagline here.